Hey builders, Brick Ratty up here with a review of the brand new Citizen Brick Lego set, the Lowrider Carpool, which was released on Black Friday. Starting off with just the box, the front is the vehicle with some nice buildings in the background. On the sides you can see a bandana type of print with some of the sides being blue, some of them being red. That could be for Crips and Bloods, that sort of situation. Has a really great printing though all the way around. On the back, there's some funny printing. It has a text box that says we should take one car to reduce our carbon footprint on our way to volunteer at the Children's Hospital. It has a bunch of names for the different figures that are included. I'll get to those after the build experience, and just some of the features that are present in this build. So let's crack open the box and see what's inside. Inside the box is a bag that contains all of the parts. A lot of these are pad printed by Citizen Brick, which is the same process that Lego uses. There's a bag for the electronic pieces, for the lights. You get batteries with this, which is great. And all four figures are in separate bags so they don't get scratched. Again, I'll look at those after the build experience. I did remove the instructions. It's a QR code, you scan it, and then you can view them on your phone, computer, whatever. It brings you to a link and you can download them. Here are all the parts laid out. You get 19 pad printed pieces, around 10 parts that are modified for the lights, and the build overall consists of 222 pieces. The instructions are just a simple bricklink project, it looks like, and look pretty standard compared to other Lego sets. Something to keep in mind at the end of the PDF are the instructions for the electronics. You may want to kind of plan ahead on when you need to install those so you don't have to build the set all the way and then take it apart a bit. When you get to points in the instructions where the modified bricks are present, they do make notes of them so you do know when you might need to do some work on the lighting. Something cool about the lighting kit, it is made in Minnesota, which is where I am from. On the back it has printing for Citizen Brick. It's labeled as the Lowrider version 3.1. This is going to be my first time getting a Brickstuff lighting kit. So it'll be cool to see how this works. When you get to the point where you're putting in the lights, you'll need to be careful about which of the two 2x8 plates you end up using. One of them has 4 holes drilled in, the other one has 6 holes drilled in. So if you get them mixed up, you're going to have the incorrect amount of lights and you have to switch them a bit. Getting the headlights ready is simple enough. You just slide in the 4 different wire pieces with the lights on the end. Before putting the clear studs on, make sure that the lights are as flat as they can be. That way they won't get punched through the holes or damaged. Then repeat for the tail lights. On top of the plates, you also need to watch out for the right 1x4 snot pieces. Only one of them will have holes drilled in it. My 1x4 snot brick is not dremeled very well and I actually can't get the cables through. So I have to pick at this with a screwdriver or something, which kind of sucks. After getting the lights threaded through, you can connect the ends to the circuit board. They will only fit in one way, so you might need to twist them a bit to get them to fit. And you will hear a click when they enter all the way. After getting those wires tucked in, it should sit pretty flat in there. This round brick will just be used to tuck that wire into the side so it doesn't stick out as much. And this board is just supposed to be tucked into the trunk. Fortunately, some of the wire does kind of show on the side of the vehicle, but I'm sure it's kind of unavoidable at the scale. And here's the completed car. I noticed during the building that the structure is not super perfect, and honestly it is pretty weak. Just from touching it just now, I broke off this back angled piece. For some reason, they built it with 2 1x4s several times across the vehicle instead of using 1x8 plates, even though that they have 1x8 plates in the set. If you're going to be getting this, I would recommend getting, I believe, 3 1x8 line plates, maybe even 4. Otherwise, it will probably break apart like this, and you're going to have to take it apart a bit to fix it because it is not very easy to repair even. I also noticed while building that the front is not secured very well and popped off. The electronics take up all the space in the trunk, preventing you from using the speaker prints that they included, which are on these slope pieces. I think that this would have worked a lot better if they had printed them on tiles. I used a bunch of random 2x3 tiles here with a plate on the back. That way at least you could have slid them in, the friction on the sides would have held them down. And it still has that angle because the electronics are down there. It still closes fine. I think something like this would have been a much better solution. One of the features of this set is the realistic bouncing action, which you can trigger by pushing down on the back and then pushing it back down like that. Looking at the set originally, I thought it'd be stuck upwards like this, but I am happy that it is able to stay down a bit. The switch and button for the electronics are pretty well hidden and easy to access. It might be a little bit better if it was covered, but then you'd have to take it apart to turn it on, so it could go either way with what your opinion on it is. And if you press it, the lights turn on, taillights are on, as well as the headlights. Honestly, these lights are very bright. I'll just turn off my studio lights quick so you can see them a bit better. I'm very impressed. I've never bought from Brickstuff before, and this is really cool. If you hold down on the button, it'll play different songs and sounds. My favorite part though isn't the music. It ends up playing the horn sound, which is used for the Ant-Man van. And if you have the set that has that van, it would be cool to put the sound piece in there. It's just too bad you can't manually select which sound plays. As well as getting the car, you also get 4 minifigures, so let's throw these on the stand and check them out. The first figure here is labeled as Braden on the box. It's a really great figure. Not only does it have really great arm printing, it also has leg printing that goes all the way on the back to make those shoes almost all the way around the leg, which is really cool. All of these figures in this set honestly just make for really great civilian fodder. I'm not sure if this is based on anybody in particular, but this figure has really great printing. I think it'd be cool to get a bunch of different colors of these flannel type pieces. Pretty good start to the figures. Let's move on to the next one. This next one's labeled as Colton on the box. Has some cool tattoos on the chest, on the arms. Again, has leg printing on all of the sides, with the belt continuing at the top and then the shoes at the bottom. This one has Nikes and some shorts, it looks like, with the socks. The tattoos are really cool, with a Lego clown, 8-ball, then brass knuckles on one side, and then 2 Lego hands, it looks like, and a cross. Also has a tattoo of a teardrop in his eye. Might show some gang activity with this one. Another pretty decent figure. This next one's labeled as Bryce on the box, and it is Tupac. I really like the legs on this figure. That's a really great jeans print with, I'm assuming, are Timbs. I think this would be a really great leg to use for a carpenter or any other type of worker in your collection. The torso's honestly a bit plain, and the head, the bandana doesn't show anywhere other than the front, which is kind of disappointing. Overall, the details that are on this are good, but I do think it is lacking in certain areas. For being a recognizable character like this, it is kind of a bummer that this is how the figure is, but is what it is. The last figure for this set is labeled as MC 8 Mile, and it is Eminem. For being probably the most famous figure in this set, it is the most plain, with it being the only figure with no shoe printing. It does have a nice jean print and a sweatshirt with headphones, and of course a bit of mom's spaghetti on his torso. I do really like this hoodie design. It would be kind of cool to get this piece without the spaghetti on it. I think this would be cool for people's sig figs. Just as a plain beanie. Do like that head print. And just check, no back head print. And like I said when I put him on, just a plain figure, but it has some pretty decent detailing. And it is cool to get Eminem. So what are my thoughts on this set? Honestly, I think it is the first Citizen Brick product that I wouldn't recommend. I think it is a little too niche. I think the figures are honestly the best part of it. And if you're not really that into rap, I don't think this set is for you. Like I pointed out, I think the set could have used a lot more testing on the build. And I do think there are things in it that are lacking, especially for the price point. It's just those little nitpicks that I think would have improved this product a lot, especially since this is my first Citizen Brick set. Just looking at their older ones, I think they're a lot more interesting, especially the Breaking Bad Super Lab set. I think the figures in that are a lot more desirable than these, even though that these figures do have some pretty decent detail. I just wish that maybe this was something more licensed and less abstract. I think one of the biggest positives is that light feature. I think it is pretty cool, honestly. Not a fan of all of the sounds that it plays. Having the lights is really cool. Now, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. If you like custom Lego, I have a bunch of videos of it on my channel. I've been Brick Radiop, and I'll see you in the next video.